Good night, everyone. This is U.S. Immigration Attorney Sharifa Tharpe, and I am here live to take your U.S. immigration related questions. So, if you have a U.S. immigration related question, I am here to answer your questions. So, go ahead, put your questions in the comments, and I will go ahead and answer it. So let me tell you more about me. I'm U.S. Immigration Attorney Sharifa Tharpe, and I help clients to get their green cards and status in the United States. And a part of what I do is also come on here. I come on here every night with very few exceptions to answer your questions. I like to close the night out with you. It's the end of my day, and I want to hear your immigration related questions. So you can go ahead and put your questions in the comments, or you can put it in the Q&A option that is also on your screen. That's that comments box with the question mark. If you want to learn more about me, you can go to the link in my bio. It will take you to the website where you will see my contact information. There's a scheduling coordinator who will schedule your consultations, who's available up until 11 p.m. tonight. And if you'd like to schedule a consultation, make sure that you do it now, because the scheduling coordinators, they don't work over the weekends. And then the next day they'll get back to you is on Monday. If you can't get through to me by phone, what you can do is submit a contact form, and the scheduling coordinator will get back to you on the next business day. So go ahead, put your questions in the comments. Why not take advantage of a U.S. immigration attorney being here now to answer those questions? So you can go ahead and put it in the comments, because that is why I'm here. Now, keep in mind that this is not the only opportunity you will get to ask your questions. I am here every day. And so if you, at some point, you will have questions in the future, you can go ahead and follow me. And as soon as you see me go live, come on and ask questions. So my application was in 2018 as a sibling. So, and that's HARP 94020. Now, unfortunately, you have a while to wait, because even though your U.S. citizen sibling may have submitted this application for you to get the green card, it is taking about a minimum of 14 years. So for example, in the Caribbean, it's about 14 years. In Mexico, though, it can go over 2 decades, over 20 years. So as long as the law stays the way it is, you would be looking at a 14-year process. And so you are just at the beginning of this process. Also, if you're in the United States without status, you want to make sure you get legal advice as to how to move forward in your process, what to expect. Because you're not going to, as the law stands now, you will not be able to stay in the United States and apply for the green card at the same time. You would have to complete the green card process by leaving the United States. But there is a way to leave the United States safely so that you can return after you are granted the immigrant visa. So go ahead, schedule a consultation if you would like to get personal legal advice about your options, how to move forward. Thank you, Mikkel World Boss Bar, for sharing the live. I appreciate that. HARP 940, you are welcome. Keep those questions coming. These are the exact type of questions that I want to hear. And in addition to that, you can ask anything that's U.S. immigration related. So go ahead, put your questions in the comments. Why not take advantage of a U.S. immigration attorney being right here in front of you right now on a Friday night to answer your questions? And guess what? Even if right now you don't have a question, but you may have a question tomorrow, you can go ahead and follow me and hop on whenever you see me go live. Still married to American citizen and almost 5 years, still haven't received the 10-year green card. So Nesaj, I don't know what that situation could be. Now, in this case, that is excessive. If you're married to a U.S. citizen, you apply through the U.S. citizen, and 5 years have passed and you still haven't received a decision or your 10-year green card, you definitely need to consult with an attorney. I'm a U.S. immigration attorney, so go ahead, consult me on this to determine what the issues are. Now, sometimes when this happens, they'll put your application in an extended review. And sometimes what helps is actually to file what's called a mandamus. It's a lawsuit against the USCIS. And in this case, where your application has been pending for 5 years, that is definitely beyond the processing time, and that may be one of the options on the table. But I can't tell you specifically what to do unless we do a personal consultation. So what you can do is schedule a consultation. You can call 561-405-4889 and then schedule a consultation. So I got the 2 years and submitted the documents for the unconditional. Okay, so it's the unconditional. So that is that is also taking a long time. But keep in mind that if you have been waiting for 5 years to remove the conditions on your green card, that is still a very long time. Angie Vibes Kitchen, hi there, it's nice to see you. Thanks for saying hi. So what is your consultation cost, please? So it's $150 for up to an hour. Now, I want you to know the value that you get out of this. Now, you do get legal advice, and I do evaluate your situation in detail. So you walk out knowing what you qualify for, what you should be doing, what your options are, whether you're on the right path, and you could walk out with me as your attorney should you need further legal representation. So Angie, my daughter's dad is from Bermuda and she was born in Jamaica. How do we apply for school in Bermuda? So Angie, I am a U.S. immigration attorney, so I don't do immigration law in Bermuda. When traveling to the U.S. and they revoke your visa, can you appeal and get your visa back? So there is really, with this, when it comes down to non-immigrant visas, there's no appeal process, unfortunately. However, there are ways to try to rectify the situation, and it really depends on why it was revoked. But there are different ways. So for example, there is no limit on applying for a visa again and then presenting the evidence to show that maybe there was a misunderstanding, there was an error in law or something of the sort. But keep in mind that it's best to get a consultation because this is a complex process. And it really depends whether or not it's even worth pursuing. Depends on the basis of the cancellation or why your visa was revoked. Also, if you were turned around at the border, so you landed in the United States and you were turned around, that's also called an expedited removal, and so that can also complicate your case. And so it's very important to get legal advice to find out, get to the root of it, and then figure out a solution from there. Which state do you operate in? I'm in Boca Raton, Florida. Keep in mind though, I'm not limited by borders. I'm not limited by state lines. I represent clients all over the country and the world because when it comes on to immigration law, we have to work with USCIS offices, immigration courts, as well as embassies all over the country. So it was revoked because of overstaying the visa because she got stuck due to COVID. So Pretty Vicky, schedule a consultation and then we can look further into this situation. Go ahead, put your questions in the comments. I am here to answer your questions, and so far these have been great questions. So keep those questions coming so that I can answer those questions, especially if you have that nagging question that sits on you and keeps you up at night. Here is a chance to get some kind of clarification or guidance as to how to approach your situation. Now, keep in mind that even though I'll be giving you general information, it can help you personally. Now, if you would like to get personal legal advice, which is the best, then schedule a consultation. There's a scheduling coordinator who will be up until 11 p.m. to take your, to schedule in you and put you on my schedule. And today's the last day to do it before Monday. So how do I schedule a consultation? Great, Pretty Vicky. You go to the link in my bio. It's going to take you to the website where you'll see the contact number. The contact number is 561-405-4889. You can also, when you call that number, you'll get the scheduling coordinator who will put you on my schedule right away and confirm your appointment. You can also fill in your information on the website, on the contact form. That will go to the scheduling coordinator who will contact you either tonight or on the next business day, which will be Monday. So keep your questions coming because I'm here to answer your questions. So the best way to go about a USA visa, my mother is a US citizen. So if you are just looking for a visitor's visa, Pretty Vicky, you're welcome. So if you are just looking for a US visa, visitor's visa, it's not really going to be dependent on your mother per se. I mean, your mother is a good reason why you need to visit the United States. But what they're really going to be looking for is whether you have strong ties to your home country that would allow you to stay, to return to your home country after your temporary visit to the United States. And what that means is, do you have strong commitments to your country that will compel you to return? Do you have a business? Do you have a home? Do you have strong family ties? Do you have a long-standing business or employment? Do you have other property? Do you have debts? And so it's really, you have to bring that evidence to the appointment. You are welcome, Pretty Vicky. Let me see. So keep those questions coming because I am here to answer those immigration questions. So put your questions in the comments and I will answer your questions. So what you can do is you can also go to the link in my bio if you want a personal consultation, and you can also make sure that you're following me at the same time. That way I can, when I come live on live, you can hop on with me to ask your questions right away. I'm here every day about this time, and so you can depend on me to show up and answer your questions. So keep those questions coming. Now, I also like to bring a topic to talk about in between questions, and since I don't see any questions right now, I'm going to talk about that topic now. And the topic I'm going to talk about is applying for the 2-year green card to a 10-year green card without your spouse. So let me explain. The 2-year green card is a conditional green card, and it's a temporary green card that's granted to an individual if they have been, if it's a marriage-based green card application and they have been married to their US citizen or green card holder spouse for less than 2 years. And it has to be renewed at the 1 year and 9 month mark after receiving that green card. July will be 1 year since I petitioned for my daughters under 21. What can I do to speed up the process? So there are ways to ask for your case to be expedited, but keep in mind that it has to be justified with a good reason. Those good reasons would be things like, do you have an emergency? Is there a health issue? Is there, for example, if your daughters are outside of the country, is there something that is posing a risk to them and their welfare? Is the country in warfare? So it really depends on your particular circumstances to be able to get that expedited. Otherwise, it really is a waiting game. Unfortunately, you are not the only person that's in this situation. This kind of petition is taking more than a year to get a decision on. And Sassy Cassie, you're a permanent resident and that could make it worse. Remember, last year when the Trump administration was was managing the immigration system, they had implemented a hold on all immigration except for immediate relatives of U.S. citizens. So there is even a further backlog because of this. So unfortunately, it's going to be a waiting game. How long does it take to file for my kids if they're over the age of 20? So Mikkel, World Boss Bar. If you're a U.S. citizen, it's taking about 6 to 7 years. If you are a permanent resident, it's taking about 5 to 6 years to get your kids who are over. Now, keep in mind that if they are under 21, so say they're over 20, but they're under 21, then they could still qualify as your children, and that's taking 2 years. However, if they're over 21, it's going to be, or close to being 21, it's going to be a year, so over 5 years. User 6211, thanks for sharing the live. So keep your questions coming because I'm here to answer your U.S. immigration questions. And so far, these have all been great questions. Now, if you are watching this and you don't have a question now, keep in mind there's no such thing as a dumb question to me. You can go ahead and put any immigration related question that you want. I believe that any question is valuable, and I want to make sure that you get any kind of information you want out of those questions. How long does it take for a person to file for their spouse? So if you're a U.S. citizen, it's taking 18 to 24 months. And guess what? Right now, if you're a permanent resident, your spouse, if you're a U.S. permanent resident, that means a green card holder, it's taking about the same time as a U.S. citizen right now. And that's because there's no wait list for that immigrant visa number. So now keep in mind that can change at any time. So this is temporary. What's happening though is that there are less applications than there are immigrant visa numbers. And that means that they have immigrant visa numbers available to give to spouses of green card holders. So that's why it could take a 2 year, it could be a 2 year long process, but that could change. That's why I'm telling people right now is the time to apply for your spouse, even if you're a green card holder. Now, keep in mind that if your spouse is a green card holder and they're here without status in the United States, it's going to be it's a different process, and it may be a little more complex. So you want to get legal advice if your spouse is here and you're a green card holder. Thank you for sharing the live, King. What does biometrics consist of? Meaning what is done at the apartment. So the biometrics is the fingerprinting appointment, and this is for the background check basically. Hi, how can I change my address after applying for my work permit? So it depends on the type of application that you have. What you can do is follow the instructions on the receipt notice if you have the instructions. If not, there is what's called the AR11 form online at the USCIS.gov's website. Also call them and let them know that you have a change of address, and based on the type of application you have, they can give you further information. So after the biometrics is done, what's next? STEPA General, it depends on what type of application you're filing for. If you're doing the adjustment of status application and you file for the work permit, then you would likely get the work permit if it's approved in the mail. Now, if you didn't apply for the work permit, what would come next is the interview. Now, the timeline of the interview depends on what application you are currently going through. Hi, what's the status right now with the F3 category? So I don't have a specific status right now with those. It just depends on your processing time and where you are in your F3 process. Do you have an immigrant visa number that's currently available to you? How long have you been waiting for your process? Right now, I know that the F3 status is taking about 12 years, unfortunately. However, keep in mind that it depends on when you applied and where you are in the process. So keep those questions coming. These are all great questions so far. I want to hear more of your questions. That is why I'm here. So take advantage of a U.S. immigration attorney being here to answer your questions. So yes, I have been waiting about 11 years now. So if you've been waiting about 11 years, you're definitely closer to your priority date than many other individuals. So hang tight. What you can do is keep tabs on your specific status. Now, if it's at the National Visa Center now, you can log in. They do have a portal where you can log in and just check to see if they're ready to start gathering documents for your interview. User 6211, you are welcome. That is exactly why I'm here. I'm here to answer your questions. And Saffron, you are welcome as well. And keep those questions coming. These are the type of questions that I would like to answer. So go ahead and keep your questions coming. There's no such thing as a dumb question or too much of a simple question. Ask your question and I will let you know. If it's more complex than I can answer on the live, I will let you know, and that will definitely be an indication to you that you ought to seek legal advice regarding your issue. But I'm here right now to answer your questions. Now, if you don't want to ask your questions and you really would like to figure out what you need to do in your process, you want legal representation through your process, you can click on the link in my bio and it's going to take you to the website. Right now, there's a scheduling coordinator who is available to take your call and schedule a consultation and confirm your appointment. Also, there are after hours receptionists. So even if you come off of this live and 2 o'clock in the morning, you decide I'm gonna call that attorney, there are after hours receptionists available to take your name, your information, and then the scheduling coordinator, who's really in charge of scheduling the appointments, will get right back to you on the next business day. How long do you have to wait after you have been approved for VAWA to get your work authorization? So if you've been approved now, it's taking about 6 to 8 months after you apply for your work authorization. Do I have to wait for my I-130 to come back, then file because of overstay? So Nadia, do I have to wait for my I-130 to come back, then file? I'm not sure what you mean by that. Can you clarify your question so I can make sure to file for the waiver? So do I have to wait for my I-130? Okay, I understand. So yes, you have to file an approved I-130 with the waiver. You're absolutely right. So nowadays, General, how long does it take to get the EAD after biometrics, EB3? So generally, it's taking about 6 to 8 months to get that work permit. So keep your questions coming. I'm here to answer your immigration questions. And so far, these have been good questions. Why not take advantage of me, a U.S. immigration attorney, being here to answer your questions? Now, I'm here every day. So if you don't have a question and you'd like to follow me, and then you will get notice. So once you follow me, you'll get notice. And then once you get notice I'm live, you can hop on and ask your U.S. immigration related question. So I was talking and I've seen that the questions have slowed a bit. So I'm going to talk about how to apply for your 2-year green card to the 10-year green card without your spouse. Because sometimes there's a misconception that if your spouse is not going to renew your 2-year green card, you're out of luck and you'll have to lose your status. Some people don't file because of this reason. That is wrong. You can file for the 2-year green card to a 10-year green card even without your spouse, in the case that you're being divorced, that you are being mistreated or being subjected to extreme cruelty, or you will face extreme hardships if you don't get the green card renewed. I have been pre-approved but still waiting for the card. How long will that take? So it's hard because I don't know what your situation is and I don't know when you are approved. So that is hard from the time that you've been approved to the time that you receive your card. What can a person, now if you have been approved for your permanent residence, your green card, generally speaking, you can expect about 4 weeks or more, 4 weeks to maybe even 90 days to get that green card. What can a person with overstay visa do that's living in the United States? So Shan Island gal, it depends on how you qualify. Now, if you overstayed and you have certain qualifying relatives, you may be able to fix your status. So if you have a U.S. citizen or a legal permanent resident spouse or parent, there may be a way for you to stay in the United States and apply for the green card. Or you may have to leave, but you could apply for a waiver first and wait for the decision on the waiver. And then when you're scheduled for your green card interview, you can go to your home country with the approved waiver and they won't hold that against you, the overstay, and you could come back shortly thereafter after you get the immigrant visa approved. So it all depends. Shan Island gal, if you do have a U.S. citizen or legal permanent resident spouse or parent, go ahead, give me a call, schedule a consultation. And if you would like to find out if you do have any options at all outside of that, schedule a consultation and I can evaluate your situation. How long before the USCIS send AOS receipts? So right now you could be looking at 4 to 6 weeks. Applied I-485. My wife is dependent. I live in Florida and I'm in PA. Does it create issue in interview? It absolutely can. So they will definitely have questions about why you have different address. They will subject you to further scrutiny because you're living in different locations and that can be fishy to them. So if you would like further legal advice regarding what your issue is, schedule a consultation. If that is the case for work, then you and your wife need to make sure that you prep for the interview. You shore up your other evidence to show that you continue to have a bona fide relationship despite living apart. But I can tell you now that they will definitely have further questions for you and subject you to further scrutiny because you live apart. It's because of our job. So Tanaji, if it's because of your job, you will definitely need to make sure that you focus on the other evidence that can show that this is a real marriage, a bona fide relationship, because I know for a fact that you'll go into the interview and that will be the sticky point. If you would like further legal advice, schedule a consultation with me. You can call 561-405-4889. Go to the link in my bio. It takes you to the website with all the contact information. Where is your office? My office is in Boca Raton, Florida, but I'm not limited by borders. I'm not limited by state lines. I represent clients all over the world, all over the country, in all 50 states. So if you would like assistance, give me a call, schedule a consultation. Do we get separate interview or combined? If so, it will be at her state or mine. So it will be in the state where the address is. So the address where it was submitted, the adjustment of status application was submitted. So, and it will not be separate interviews. It will be one. And I can tell you now that that's going to be a sticky point. So you have to make sure that you create a strong application. How long does the NVC take to schedule appointment for spouses? It depends, right? It depends on where you are in the process. It depends on how long you get the documents in to the US, the National Visa Center. Because what they do is they gather your information, and if you don't provide them all the documents that they want, they will not schedule that interview. So it all depends. What I can tell you is right now the process is taking anywhere from 18 to 24 months from the time you applied. You are saying that the card could be in 4 weeks after approval for VAWA. So Olumark 77, I don't know what your situation is. I don't know where you are in the process, so I can't. Now, if you were pre-approved, that means that you got the prima facie letter. So I think when you mean pre-approval, you mean the prima facie letter. If you got the prima facie letter, that is not an official approval. And so you would not get any card in the mail. If you applied for a work permit, you'll get it about 6 to 8 months. And then you have to wait for the adjustment of status application interview to be able to see if you get approved and if you get the green card. But a pre-approval is not an official approval, and so you don't get the green card then. Shan Island Gal, you're welcome. He called me. Thank you for sharing the live. Saffron, thanks for sharing the live. My brother applied for N400. The biometrics notice is generated, but not got yet. We are moving. So make sure you submit a Tanaji. Make sure you submit a change of address. What if we miss that biometrics in the old address? So make sure you do a change of address. Bibican 305, thanks for sharing the live. I really appreciate that. So go ahead. These questions are all great questions. Keep your questions coming because I'm hanging out here right now on a Friday night to take your questions. And I'll be here tomorrow night, on a Saturday night, and Sunday night, and Monday night. So you can also follow me so that as soon as you see me go live, you can hop on and ask your immigration questions. But right now, I'm giving you a chance to put your questions in the comments to ask those immigration related questions. It can be anything that's immigration related. In between the questions, I have been talking about how to go from a 2-year green card to a 10-year green card, so that conditional green card. If you have that 2-year green card, you know what I mean. You got that 2-year green card because you were married to your spouse for less than 2 years, and now at 1 year and 9 months, you can go ahead and renew that to a 10-year green card to remove the conditions and move forward with a 10-year green card. Now, usually you're required to apply for that renewal with your spouse, but you know, things happen and you may not be able to apply with your spouse. You may have fallen out, you may be separated, your spouse may be subjecting you to extreme cruelty, and in that case, you can apply for it on your own. Hi, good evening. I was wondering when they're going to start issuing US visas. So some embassies are doing that. It depends on which embassy, what is the COVID situation in that country, and so forth. So it all depends. What you can do is go to the website of the embassy and see if they have any updates on what they're doing right now. What will be the proof to prove bona fide marriage? We have photographs. We are continuously visiting. So Tanaji, we have marriage certificates. So marriage certificates are good. Pictures, photographs are good. Photographs in different locations with different people, different family members, different dates, different events in time are good. If you've exchanged gifts, if you sent money to your spouse, if you have your tickets from your airlines and your airline tickets, your hotel reservations, those are also good as well. So those are good examples, and affidavits from friends and families talking about their knowledge about your real relationship can be valuable where you're lacking in other areas. I know when your spouse is outside of the United States and you haven't lived together, it can be hard, and you don't have any kids, it can be hard to prove a bona fide relationship. But in this case, what you can do is use your friends and your family to provide affidavits to say they know of your relationship, how they know about your relationship, and so forth. So keep those questions coming. These are all great questions, and this is exactly why I'm here. So affidavits is simply a written letter by them, or it's special. So it does have a special format. And usually you can find those formats online as well. So that is something I do help my clients to do as well. So what you can do is, if you would like further information about specifics in your case, you can schedule a consultation. But affidavits is a specially written statement. It's either signed a certain way or it is notarized. So Tanaji, I don't get into specific formatting information, just because I don't want anybody to go and do something on their own that they don't know much about. So what you can do the research to find what an affidavit is on your own, or you can also, which I don't recommend, sometimes Google isn't enough, you can also schedule a consultation and I can help with that. Do I have to change my name, or can I keep my maiden name? So Sharda, that is your choice, right? Changing your name is not going to be the end all of your application. It's not going to be that one thing that determines whether or not your marriage-based application gets approved. Sometimes it can indicate how dedicated you are, but keep in mind that that's not all. People can change their names all the time. And what really matters here is other evidence. So what other evidence do you have to show that you have a bona fide relationship with your spouse? Exactly. So here's someone else. So King said no. So King and Babidol says, I don't change my name, and that is fine. I have the same last name. That is exactly fine. You can keep your maiden name if you want to, but you have to focus on the other evidence that you have. So keep your questions coming, because I'm here to answer your immigration questions. Sharda 1131, you are very welcome, and thank you for asking your question. So I'm here on a Friday night, and I'm here to answer your questions. I'll be here tomorrow as well. And here's your last chance to put your questions in the comments. Can I put my parents' address as my USCIS address? So Tanaji, one, I can't tell you what to put on your application, because that would be giving you specific legal advice. I would have to be the attorney on record actually completing your form to be able to advise you on that. I don't even review applications in consultations, because I don't think it's fair to individuals to go off and try to do something on their own based on just advice. So I will not be able to advise you on whether to put your parents' address, because I don't know your full facts. I don't know your circumstances. If you would like personal legal advice, you can schedule a consultation and we can talk more. Do you have information about Canada? So Shakar Table, I'm a U.S. immigration attorney. I'm not a Canadian immigration attorney. So keep those questions coming. Here's your last chance to put your questions in the comments. I was talking about going from a 2-year green card to a 10-year green card without your spouse. So there are 3 ways to do this. If you're filing for divorce, you can still apply for the divorce waiver, and you will get more time to be able to finalize the divorce and produce the divorce decree. You do still have to show that you had a bona fide marriage despite the fact that it didn't work out. And then mistreatment or extreme cruelty. If your spouse is refusing to file for you because they're subjecting you to this, or they don't even have to be refusing to file with you, they are just subjecting you to mistreatment or extreme cruelty, this could be a way around the requirement that you file with your spouse to go from the 2-year green card to the 10-year green card. Because I'm leaving my current apartment and will only have my apartment 2 months. So, okay. So where in the U.S. are you located? So Sharda, I'm in Boca Raton, Florida. Keep in mind, as an immigration attorney, I can represent clients all over the United States, all over the world, and that's exactly what I do. My clients are spread across the United States, so no matter where you are in the United States, I can help. I'm filing for my husband and stepdaughter. Awesome. So Pocket Preceptor, that's awesome. If you have questions, now is the time to follow up and put your questions in the comments or in the Q&A feature. So now, as I close out, I want you to also know that you can apply for a waiver if you have to apply for to renew your 2-year green card to a 10-year green card without your spouse. And you can do that by showing a divorce decree and that you had a bona fide marriage, extreme cruelty, and that you had a bona fide marriage, or your extreme hardship should you should you lose the green card. I can help with that. This is exactly what I help my clients with. So if you don't understand what the waiver is, mark you, it is not something where you just fill out a form or write a sentence. This does take a lot of work, coordination, legal know-how. So it's important to get legal advice. You can contact me by going to the link in my bio. It will take you to the website where you can go ahead and call the office. Is it possible to remarry an ex-spouse and apply for the green card for them? So now generally, it really depends, right? If you're remarrying your ex-spouse just to help them out with the green card, that's iffy, right? Because that's only for the green card. But if you guys reconciled and you are getting back together, you would definitely go ahead and you could do that. But you would have to make sure that the officer is going to have questions about that, and you have to make sure you have strong evidence, you create a strong application, and you properly explain to the officer what happened, that you guys broke up and you got back together and now you're ready to go through the green card process. So that is it for me tonight. I basically discussed that topic in between the questions: how to renew your green card from a 2-year green card to a 10-year green card. I also answered so many awesome questions. I'll be back tomorrow to answer some more questions. So follow me, and as soon as you see me go live, as soon as you get that notice, go ahead and start dropping your questions so that I can answer those immigration questions right away. Thank you so much. So Pocket Preceptor, I've been married for over 5 years and I'm awaiting to hear back from the embassy for a date. So it sounds like you're in the process, and it sounds like things are moving along, my Pocket Preceptor. But if you do need legal advice about a particular situation, you have doubts, you need help, definitely schedule a consultation. There's a scheduling coordinator who is available until 11 p.m. tonight to take your call and schedule your consultation. So you can go ahead and do that. Tanaji, you're welcome. Have a great night, everyone. Thanks so much for your great questions, and I really hope to see you again tomorrow and onwards and to answer some more awesome questions. Go to the link in my bio where you can schedule a consultation. You can see my contact information. You can call 561-405-4889 to schedule that consultation. Have a good night, everyone. Bye-bye.